I just realized I'm gonna be moving a lot in this video, so I should probably put my hair up. Hold on. Hi, my name is Noelle Hensler and I'm a professional scare actor. So recently I've been getting a lot of questions specifically on the acting side of scare acting, and I think they're all great questions, so I wanted to put them in a full video. In this video, I'll be going over 4 of the more common types of monsters and scare characters that I've either acted as or have seen others act as in different kinds of haunt situations. Now, little disclaimer for this video. Feel free to not follow these tips at all. They are not rules to live by. As long as you are following the rules of your haunt, you're not hurting yourself or others, and you're having fun, feel free to get creative with your characters. You could play your character in so many different ways. These are simply foundational, good starting points on how to play these kind of characters. So basically what I'm saying, the biggest tip is have fun. Yeah, let's get to it, shall we? The intimidating character. I know that's very vague, but what I'm talking about here are those like big, hulking, really scary, intimidating characters. Wow, that's not even slightly more descriptive. A good example of this kind of character is maybe Jason from Friday the 13th, or Leatherface, or if you're going through a maze and it has a butcher's room and it has this really big guy with a bloody apron and he's over like 6'3" and he has his butcher's knife and he has a pig's head as a mask, and this is getting very descriptive. Although all my examples are male characters, there are female intimidating characters too. These are just more common to see, like a big guy as the intimidating character, but the tips I will give will be good for either gendered character. Also, when I talk about gender, I'm talking about the character's gender, not the actor's. First tip on how to play an intimidating character, try moving slower. Now, I'm not saying move so slow like this, but slower than your fellow scare actors, because scare actors tend to be very high energy. But think about it, if you're playing a big, intimidating character, you can afford to move slower. No guest is gonna come for you. They know that you're coming for them. You are a threat and you're gonna act like it, so you can afford to move a little slower and be all intimidating like. Tip number 2, move with purpose. You know what your goal is and you know exactly what steps to take to get to that goal. You could be playing an incredibly dumb character, but that dumb character is still gonna have the goal on their mind. Like Jason from Friday the 13th, an example I gave before, his goal is to kill the camp counselors. That's it. If he sees a camp counselor, he'll move slowly toward them. That's the intimidation factor. But he knows what he's gonna do to that camp counselor once he gets there. He's gonna kill them, right? So every step he takes is toward that camp counselor. If they dodge, he's gonna slowly adjust and move to them again. So move slower and move with purpose. Every step you take, you know what you are doing. Bonus tip for acting as an intimidating character. This tip can also be used in other characters, but I'm gonna use it specifically for this one because it really helps. Think about which body part leads. I know this might sound strange, but it helps. Think about what their goal is and what body part will lead them. Some of them lead with their head, because like they have this goal in mind and maybe they'll be hunched over a bit, but they're leading with their head. While others are more confident and lead with their chest. So they might have their shoulders back, leading with their chest while moving in a calculated way. And that will give more life to the character and it'll give you more of a goal to work with. The crazy character. These characters can be a lot of fun to play, but they expend so much energy. Some examples of this character are the crazy clown character or an escaped inmate from an insane asylum. One tip to play these characters is fast and erratic movement. You're gonna be all over the place. You're gonna be over here one second, then over there the next, and you're just running around and having fun. That's why I said it takes a lot of energy to play these kind of characters. The scare of this character comes from that sporadic movement. They don't know what they're doing, so the guest sure doesn't either, and that confusion turns into a scare. Another tip that kind of goes with that tip is just as quickly as you're moving, quickly change your emotions too. For example, you're over here, you're moving around, you're so happy and you're excited that you're over here, and then you're crying all of a sudden and you don't know what you're doing, and then you're over we're here and now we're best friends, but also I want to kill you. That. Did you feel anxiety when I just did that? Now imagine me in makeup in a haunt. Bonus tip on how to play these characters: don't play crazy. I see this mistake a lot in films and theater and acting in general. Do not play the character as crazy. Play them as 100% real. Remember, the guests going through see you as crazy, but you, everything you're hearing, seeing, feeling, may not really be there, but they are 100% real to you. Or it is real to you, but you're questioning it because you don't know what's real anymore. That's where the crazy comes in, and that's really gonna up your acting and up your scares, because then the guests are gonna start to believe you too. The Beast character. These characters are people who act like a certain animal, or maybe they are a certain animal to a degree, or they are an animal completely. There's some sort of animal to this character. Maybe you're playing a werewolf. Maybe you're playing a crazy person who is like a pig. Maybe you're completely human but slightly crazy enough to want to eat people. Whatever the reason, they have some sort of animal tendency. The basic tip for this character is act animalistic, whatever that means to you. Let that feed your energy. You are this animal, so act like an animal. Maybe you're a cat. Act like that. The interesting thing about Beast characters is that they do have the intimidation factor with a mix of the crazy. So another way you could play the character is move slower, but then you target a person and then you switch up your movement to fast. For example, if you're playing a werewolf character, you might start off really intimidating, moving slowly, but as soon as you have a target, you're gonna change up that movement and charge. Which brings me to my second tip: target people. If you're playing a predatory beast specifically, hunt people down. That's your goal. Your ultimate goal is you are on the hunt. To do this, you can start off being an intimidating character, say the werewolf. You could be a werewolf. Intimidation, moving slowly, calculated. But once you sniff, see, or hear someone, you can switch up your movement very suddenly and then charge them because they are now your target and you are on a hunt. That switch of the movement very quickly and calculated like is what gives it a jump scare. Even if you are out in the open, nothing to hide behind. Just switching up that movement so suddenly and targeting someone, like locking eyes with them, oh, they will pee their pants, I'm sure. A bonus tip for acting like a beast character: make sure to do your research on what kind of animal your character is and adapt those characteristics of that real life animal into your character. The reason I say this is because a beast character may not always be a predatory character, and you may have to find a way to have a different kind of scare. For example, if you're playing a bunny kind of character, which can happen, you never know, if your person takes on the characteristics of a bunny, you're not gonna do the werewolf thing of sniffing out for someone and leading with your nose. You may stand still and be really fidgety for a while, and that can create a little ambiance of feeling within the guest of like, what are they gonna do? And then you could get scared yourself and run away, and the guest may mirror that same fear. Just a suggestion, but the main thing is know the character's animal very well and adapt those characteristics of the real life animal into your character. And get creative with the scares. The victim or the kill character. Kill characters or victim characters can come in all kinds of shapes, sizes, doing whatever. As long as they are in the room, they serve a purpose of creating this very scary environment. Like this is what could happen to the guests going through. Some examples of victims or kill characters are if someone's trapped in a cage while the monster is off doing some other killing, or if a mad doctor is ripping the guts out of someone on an operating table. That person on the operating table is a kill character. The first big tip I have for playing this character, and this may come across as harsh, but let me explain, is know your place. If you are a victim or a kill, most likely you yourself are not the scare. So don't try and be scary. Try and be more real. Your job is not to scare the guest. Your job is to show the guest, hey, that monster right there could do this to you, you better run. The reason I say this is because when I go through haunts, there's always this tendency of scare actors wanting to like reach out and ask for help from a guest, which can be very real. Say if you're trapped in a cage or something, absolutely reach through that cage and try and like grab at someone and say, help me, help me. But if you are getting your guts ripped out by a mad doctor, you may not want to reach out to the guests and try and get a scare. That's the doctor's job. You have to focus on the fact that that doctor is ripping your guts out. You better scream. It may sound harsh, but in that case, you are a prop. You're there to better serve the overall scare. And the beauty of that is it could be way scarier than if you just jumped out. A jump scare can last a few seconds, but being that gross, being mutilated in that way and having a guest see that, that could traumatize them for life. And that's the goal. My second tip for playing the kill or victim character is know the physics of what is happening to you. What I mean by that is no matter what is happening to you, don't go against it in any way. Have it serve you better. Because if you go against the physics of what's happening to you, you might end up confusing the guest more than scaring them. For example, if I am going through a haunt and I see a mad doctor pulling guts out of someone on an operating table and the person on the table is in a half crunch reaching out to a guest saying, help me, help me. Yeah, you can do that. And yeah, that's a valid scare. That is scary. But as a guest, I might be left a little confused because first off, how can you do a crunch when you have no ab muscles right now? Also, why are you focusing on the people walking by when there is a mad doctor currently ripping your guts out? Why aren't you fighting him? Bonus tip for acting like the victim or kill is work with your monster. If you are a kill character and a monster is the one killing you, make sure to talk to that actor and say, hey, how can we mix this up a bit? How can we make this more gross? The more creative you guys are, the more you work together, the more realistic the scare is, the better impression it will leave on the guests. So those were 4 of the more common characters that I see going through haunts or acting in haunts myself. If there's other characters that you want me to go over, feel free to leave a comment down below and I'll get to them in another video when I can. I also have other videos on scare actor stories and other tips and tricks of being a scare actor. There are still more to come, so if you're interested in that kind of content, feel free to subscribe. Also, I have a Patreon account, link in the description below. The more people who sign up for my Patreon, the more time I could allot to making videos like this. So if you like these kind of videos, maybe consider starting off at the first tier even. Anything helps. The first tier is at $1 and it goes up from there. The higher the tier, the more bonuses you get. Also, if you have an Instagram, feel free to follow me on there. I post there the most frequently, so you will get the most up-to-date updates on whatever I'm doing. That's it for now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.